What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, fellow commentators. Today's r/askreddit question is, what is your "and I should have died but didn't" story? Now, this answer is like those survival TV shows. Had a windsurfing accident, was blown 8+ miles out to sea with only the board. Was supposed to be a hard freeze that late November evening. About 45 minutes before dark, I heard the Coast Guard vessel looking for me. I had already resigned myself to death, as only one other person knew I was out there, and so far as I knew, he had gotten himself into the same situation. It's really amazing how calm you get, and how the fear of death leaves when you become sure that it's going to happen, or it could have been hypothermia. As a kid, my dad would take roadies, beer in a plastic cup, when he would drive me around the town. As a kid, I didn't realize it meant that he wanted to keep his buzz, and I was too young to really tell if he was driving poorly or not. One night, he was particularly drunk and gunned it at a railroad crossing. We were probably a foot or two, and less than a second of reaction time away from getting hit by a freight train. No way we would have survived. He stopped taking roadies with him shortly after that incident, and he's never brought it up in the 20-some-odd years after it happened. At 6, I was in the backseat of my dad's Trans Am. Turning left, a truck ran a red light and hit us going 80 miles an hour. The back hatch of our car broke all over me, and I was ejected out of the car, where I landed on my head in the middle of the highway. I was pronounced dead, but the EMT somehow revived me. I had a grand mal seizure for 45 minutes in the hospital until I eventually went into coma for 4 days. Woke up and couldn't walk or talk. Broke 3 ribs and my hip. Spent a month in the hospital. 24 now, and you never know I went through that. I do have seizures now and short-term memory loss, but other than that, doing well. I was struck by lightning when I was 15 while hiking in the mountains between North Carolina and Tennessee. It started hailing afterward. I couldn't move, but my friends pulled me under a tree and wrapped me in an aluminum blanket because I was going hypothermic in July. The hail pelted holes in the blanket. The hail above us on the mountain melted and ran down where we were laying, soaking us, and thunder rumbled all around for half an hour or more, threatening. I don't think I'll ever hear thunder and not shudder. Also, I haven't seen the color black. Black's not a color, shut up. Since then, I believe I am permanently flash burned. At night, or when I close my eyes, I see a million dots of faint colored light like static. Anyway, I survived. It happened 14 years ago. I went to the hospital after several days of the worst fatigue I've ever experienced. I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes and a temporary condition called diabetic ketoacidosis. And I was told it was a miracle I brought myself to the hospital, because I was mere hours away from a diabetic coma and possibly death. A few months ago, I was hit while riding my motorcycle, nearly 2 months with my permit. I was on my way home and only half a mile from my house when a car from oncoming traffic turned left across my lane. I hit them pretty much head on at 40 miles an hour and was thrown over their vehicle before landing in the middle of the road. I can remember the feeling of the impact, was being knocked around, and the sound of my bike crushing into the car and my helmet hitting the ground. I couldn't see anything though, and I don't know if it was because I closed my eyes or because I blacked out. I came to my senses lying on my back in the middle of the road, just trying to figure out what was going on. It's amazing how hard it is to think after head trauma. A kind bystander came to check on me, kept me talking, got my name, told me what happened. The lady who hit me came and apologized and asked if she could do anything. I asked her to call my dad, and she said she'd go to get her phone. Never saw that girl again. One of my more distinct memories is that I felt so numb right after the hit. Kinda like if you've ever held your hand on something that vibrates and then you take it off and just have vague tingling. I was so scared that I couldn't feel my legs. After a few minutes of worrying, I tried to wiggle my toes, and much to my relief, I could feel them in my boots. I cried. The ambulance arrived and the EMTs checked me out. They made sure I didn't have any neck or spine injuries before taking my gear off. It was late winter / early spring in Kentucky, and I think it was about 35 degrees Fahrenheit that day. I was wearing 2 layers of clothes plus my motorcycle gear on. This is likely what saved me. I also had a backpack on, and I feel that it protected my spine. When I was 18, I was driving on a divided highway on the furthest left lane, right by the middle divider. Suddenly, a car on the highway going the opposite direction comes flying across all 3 lanes, literally directly for me. The car smashed violently into the cement divider just as we passed each other. Two of his tires drove up over the divider, then back down onto the highway. One of the scariest moments of my life. Basically, if there was no divider, I'd be dead. I was walking home drunk at 18, past 11 p.m. My house is near a railway crossing which isn't manned after 6 p.m. I looked both ways and was sure it was clear. Crossed over, reached the other side, just as a train sped behind me. I made sure I never drink that much anymore. My father took me to a cliff over the sea. I was a toddler. He told my mom that she wouldn't see me again. When I came back home, I told my mom I had fun with Dad. He got me to sit on the edge of a cliff with my feet dangling off the side. He then told her, if I can't have you, you can't have her. Yeah, I think I could have died that day. Installing a new fuel pump in my car a few years ago. Full tank of fuel, so a decent amount had sloshed onto the ground already. Got under the car to route new fuel line. Jiggling things around so fuel still sloshing onto me in the ground. Also sloshing onto the very hot light bulb inches from my face, so I couldn't see what I was doing. Only occurred to me the next morning how easily I could have burned to death under my car with no one else around. One spark from a tool falling, it really spooked me. Not the risk of death so much as the manner of death, and the scene it would have left for whoever found me. Guy slammed into me on the interstate. I was going 75. He hit me from behind, doing at least 100. My car slammed into a tree so hard that the tree went through the back seat. I walked away from it and decided to find a purpose in my life. All you baseball players out there, I was hit in the head on accident with an aluminum baseball bat. In shockingly sober antics, my friends and I were pitching chunks of ice to be shattered by a batter. I set one up on a tee, but did not back away far enough and was caught on the backswing. Once my brain felt swollen and I started bleeding, I knew immensely what happened and focused on remembering as much as possible and playing little brain teasers in my head because I read somewhere that brain activity during a trauma would protect against permanent damage. I was driven to the hospital and got a CT scan, where I was by God's grace pronounced not even concussed. There's a chunk of flesh missing in my forehead. I still, however, don't like baseball bats now, and I hate to watch them swing. I remember sticking a fork in a toaster to get a small bit of bread out that had broken off. Next thing I remember was my hand was numb and the fork was stuck in the adjacent wall. I was born 3 months premature. I weighed 2 pounds exactly. My heart stopped multiple times. I was given a 50-50 chance of surviving, and I'm a triplet. All 3 of us survived. I was walking across the road on my phone texting, and a blind man stopped me by hitting me in the legs with his cane and told me to wait for the cars to pass. What a coincidence. I started coughing and awakened my parents, who were already in deep, deep sleep, as our house was on fire and full of smoke. Not mine, but my older brother's story. My brother spent a few years as an investment banker for Leham in California and was supposed to be at the World Trade Center on 9/11/2001 for work or training. I don't remember which. Our grandmother fell ill on Sunday, 9/9, and as she had no other immediate family, he was forced to cancel his trip last minute, which he was not pleased about. He stayed with her at the hospital as she passed right after away the attacks on Tuesday. I've never had the heart to ask him how he feels about that event today. I was 9 years old, stuck my head out looking down on an ascending escalator. Apparently, near the top, both sides of the elevator become sandwiched by 2 concrete walls. My uncle, who was standing next to me, wasn't paying attention and didn't pull me back at the last possible second. I would have likely been decapitated. I still get chills each time I recall this story. And that is it for today's video by comment. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's nice if you guys stay to the end of the video. And in the comments down below, how about you write down any feedback, further ideas. Maybe I should do r/askreddit, r/entitled parents. There's tons of subreddits. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. share, give that little bell a ring so you are updated when I post my daily videos. Really appreciate it. This has been Comment. I'll see you guys in the next one.